Hey, welcome back to another edition of Opera with a Side of Fries. I am one of your hosts, Oren Gratis, and of course, I am joined by.
Carl Tanner.
Frank Basile.
And we are back with an incredibly special guest today,
Yes.
one of my dear, dear, dear friends. Let me first say, before I get into what an incredible singer she is probably the most wonderful person on the face of this planet.
Amen.
The dear Marianne Cornetti, who is also a force of nature, a mezzo-soprano like you've never heard before. You probably have all heard of her before. So we have another world famous singer with us today, and one of my dearest, dearest friends. Marianne, welcome to the podcast, Opera with a Side of Fries. We love you. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I see three of you wonderful guys, and I can't stop smiling. Oren is like my little brother. Carl is like my big brother. Frank, I haven't seen for so long, but oh my gosh, It's great to see your face. Oren knows me, and he calls me as Mimi, as so many other people call me. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here.
We've known each other for what, 20 years at least?
Something? Oh, at least.
No, more. I met you back
in early 90s.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, God, we're dating ourselves, but yeah, that's a long time ago. And you don't change. You look exactly the same, and somehow I got old. I don't know. It's amazing. You look more beautiful every time I see you. Every time I see you, you look more beautiful. I don't know what it's. I don't know. You make a deal with the devil. I don't know what you did.
I agree with Oren.
Oh, that's so kind of both of you. My goodness. Carl, what do you have to say to me?
Hi. How are you, beautiful?
Long
time no see.
Sweetheart. I know.
You actually, I
never knew you as Mimi.
Yes.
Never told me to call you Mimi.
Oh, you know what? Well, there's some people that call me Mimi, and there are some people that call me Betty Cornetti. Now, that's a story I have to tell you.
La Cornetti. Oh, it's all, yes.
Yeah. Well, I hope you prepared we have a segment called Stories from the Road. And on each episode, we have our guests tell a funny story that happened to them. And we hope it's risque, or we hope it's, don't hold back when you tell the story. In other words,
I won't.
We have mature audiences, and so they're ready for you. But
I actually have a good story that involves Mimi, but we'll get to that later.
But I want Frank, since Frank did a little bit of Googling of you. Frank, could you? What
that sounds like
that's a little bit about.
Sounds like a child rhyme or something.
Would you?
Would you with a mouse, with a house, in a house, like with a what?
You have something in front of you about Marianne?
Well, I had read so much about.
I was going to say you have to edit. Otherwise, we're just going. And her bio would take an entire segment.
Marianne, exactly. First of all, she's born in Pennsylvania, raised in Pennsylvania, and she's made a full circle, and now she's like top of the hill in a position of authority and leader in opera in Pennsylvania. That's a wonderful, most people aren't welcomed in their own hometown, and you're like,
are you kidding?
Praised.
She's Miss Pittsburgh.
I know, it's incredible. So
you know what? The mayor has to watch out. I've always said if Marianne wants to run for mayor, she'd win in a landslide.
Where's the journey for her life? It's with Cincinnati, right? You went to Cincinnati. You wanted to drop out like the three of us. We all had our epiphanies where we actually thought, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And then, wow, this is what I'm meant to do.
Oh
right?
My gosh, Frank, you know what? My story is too long for this show, but I took a left hook into speech pathology.
I couldn't believe it when I read that. That was news to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Oh yes, I did. I did. It's an incredible. I have to say that my story is pretty damn incredible.
Please tell it. We really would love. That's what we want to hear about you and catch up with you on all that.
Well, you know what? I mean, if you have the time,
absolutely, we'll make the time. We'll do more segments if we need to.
Okay,
but it has to be funny.
I mean, you're real. That's the thing is, everybody thinks of opera singers as very stuffy and unapproachable, but you were so
like Frank.
Yeah, right. I'm stuffy. I've been stuffed a lot. That's for sure.
What does that mean?
Well, I weigh 300 pounds.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, really.
Frank's getting stuffed. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Frank, tarred and feathered.
Oh shoot! You know what? I'll tell you an incredible story that truly did happen. I was accepted to Manhattan School of Music, and that was 1981. I'd graduated from Knock High School, and
We're the same grade, by the way, same year.
oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
Oh, great. So anyway, I went off to, you know, Manhattan School of Music at that time did not have dorms. So, you know, my teacher, who was very good friends with her minister, and her minister was a Methodist minister, and he knew the Methodist bishop of New York City. So he said, "Hey, do you know anybody who might want to, you know, make a little extra money that can house a young student?" And so he found this woman. And when we found out where I was going, it was really 125th and Broadway, and in that time, that was still
Wow.
quite
Bad
you know,
neighborhood, seedy
yes,
neighborhood.
it
Yeah.
really, it
I
really,
got
really
robbed
was.
up there in 1979.
Oh my
My
God.
car was broken into.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fantastic now.
Yeah.
But so my mom and dad dropped me off there, and my mother called my teacher and said, "Evelyn, if she comes home in a box, it's on your shoulders." And so, but I was there, and I lived with this woman. Her name was Marjorie Bowden, and I was on the 18th floor. And after the first 3 or 4 or 5 days, I realized every night she came home from work and she drank a pint of scotch. And sadly, she was an alcoholic.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Oh my God.
just out of curiosity, is her apartment for rent?
Yeah, that's right.
No, I
You had
think,
did you have a drinking buddy?
oh my God, no. I bet, who knows if she's still there? I have no idea. But anyway, what happened was
She's
the
pickled
turning,
there.
yes, exactly. The turning point, I came from, you guys have to understand something. I came in from a little village in the country of
Yeah.
about 40 people. No joke.
Yes.
And I
Hardly on
went
the
from
map.
right there to 125th and Broadway.
Mm.
And so anyway, you know, I was going to school and everything was fine. And there was a good friend of mine said, "Hey, Marianne, oh my gosh, Luciano Pavarotti is going to be at the Metropolitan Museum of Art
Ooh.
this evening. Would you like to go see?" He was doing a lecture recital. And I said, "Oh my gosh, yes, let's go, let's go." So we went down and we got up to the ticket place there, and the person said, "Oh, well, there are no more tickets, but you're just in luck because you can buy a $5 ticket on stage with Pavarotti. We're putting chairs," and we went, "Oh, what? Unbelievable!" So we got on stage, and you know what? The first time I saw Luciano Pavarotti, I thought I was dying. Honest to God, it was like from 5-10 feet away from me. So we were so excited, and at the end, my friend said, he nudged me, and he said, "Marianne, let's see if we can meet him." And I said, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea." And he said, "Will you go ask?" I said, "Okay." So I go over and ask, and everybody's, you know, the lady's looking around, and she said, "Just wait here. About 45 minutes, I'll see if he'll come out and meet you." So honestly, we waited around more than 45 minutes. He had to meet his guests and whatnot. He came through that door, and he came over and he hugged us, and he spent 10, 15 minutes with us. I levitated. My feet did not touch the floor. And I had to go back. I had to go to an organ recital to get credit for something because I needed it.
Yeah,
And
there's nothing
so
like going from Pavarotti to an organ recital. No
I
offense
know.
to all the organists out there. I'm sorry.
I know. So I'm going to that organ recital, and I tell you, I could hardly contain myself. And now, by the time the organ recital was over, it's about 11 o'clock, and I go home back to the apartment. I get to the apartment, and you know, there's about 12 locks that you have to open the door.
Yeah.
And I was very conscientious because this was not normal for me, so I was very conscientious about locking the door. And also, there was another lady that was staying with Marjorie for about 3 weeks because she was getting her dissertation at Columbia University. So she was on the couch. So anyway, I unlocked all the locks, and I went to push the door open, and holy shit, it didn't open, and the chain was latched. And I went,
Oh,
"Oh, that lady on the couch probably locked the damn door. How am I
Oh.
gonna get in?" And I'm saying, "Hello, hello, hello." Boom! The door slams in my face. And I thought, oh my gosh, somebody's sleepwalking or something. She doesn't know what she's doing. And I tried to open again.
Does this story end up with you spending the night with Pavarotti?
No, shut up.
Oh no. Okay.
Sorry. Getting arrested
No,
for breaking and entering.
But you know what?
I'm sorry.
You know what? It probably would have been, well, no, I was going to say it probably would have been better. Never mind. We won't go
Okay.
there.
Sorry.
So
Means.
anyway,
It's another story.
the door slams in my face. I try to open the door again. I can't get the door unlocked now. And I'm knocking. Nobody comes. So I go downstairs. Now this is about 11:30 on the corner to the payphone. And I knew I couldn't call my mom or dad because that would put them in apoplexy.
I'm home
So
now.
I called my voice teacher and she said, I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. You got to go back up, Marianne. It's 11:30 at night. You're going to get killed.
Mhm.
So I go back up. I unlock the door again. Slams in my face. I stood there and I thought, what am I going to do? So I waited 5 minutes. I finally unlocked the door again. The door comes open very slowly and it's still pitch black. And I can see in the crack of the door, it's starting to open as I'm pushing it. It's like going slow. And as I'm coming through the door, I get halfway through the door and a gun is right to my head.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I've never heard this story.
Holy
my
crap.
Oh,
God.
yeah. Yep.
Good.
A pistol right to my forehead.
Was this the old lady?
Don't
Yeah.
tell your mom and dad.
Oh, no. My mom and dad went to their grave. In fact, you guys, we need to raise a glass. Today's the death or the anniversary of my mother's death 22 years ago.
Oh, yes.
She
sure.
went to her grave never hearing the story,
Oh,
and
my-
neither did my dad.
Wait, so it was the woman? Would go on.
Your mother.
Yeah. So anyway, that
The
metal.
alcoholic.
Oh yeah, the metal. You know, this is that
Oh
metal.
my God.
Oh my God, the metal of that gun. I'll never forget that. And she was absolutely drunk off her ass. I should have fucking killed you.
Oh my
You left the goddamn door
Oh
open.
my God.
And I, do you know, there's something that happens. All I could think of in a split second was, my mom
Where's
was right. I'm going to come
Oh.
home in a box.
Oh my
my
gosh. Yeah.
God.
you're not
Yeah,
kidding.
that's all I could think. And everything just went very quiet. It went shh, and I was uncannily
Uncanny.
calm,
Yeah.
calm,
Can't even. Yeah.
uncannily calm. And I said to her, I said, Marjorie, I did not leave the door open. I know I closed the door. I should fucking blow your brains out. And she turns the light on. She starts, I don't know where the woman was because she wasn't there.
Dead.
She probably
Probably.
did.
Probably.
And
She was the first victim.
Yeah. So she's whipping this gun around. And she then sort of makes her way back to her bedroom. And my bedroom was on down the hall. Well, by her bedroom was a little stand. You know how telephones were back then. They had the long cord.
Mhm.
I thought, let her get into that room, and I'm going to grab that phone and I'm going to run as fast as I can and quietly and get down that hall. And I hope to God that the cord makes it. And it did. And I pushed every piece of furniture up against the wall, up against the door. And I sat myself on the inside of the wall. So if she came, if she shot through it, I wouldn't get shot. So I don't know what she did. She must have hit the bed. She went to sleep. I stayed up all night. And I called my teacher. The stupid thing that that's how naive I was. I never even thought to call the police. What is wrong with me?
For packing?
Yeah.
Did you move out the next morning?
Pack.
Yeah, I know.
Did
So-
you move out?
No, what happened was, this is another thing. So I get up, I hear her leave in the morning. I move all of the furniture. I get out of the room at about 7:30. I go right over to the school. You know, the dean of music, I can't remember her name, but she was a woman. And I said I needed to speak to her immediately. And she said, I told her the story. You know what? Not one person said, can I help you? She said, well, you're going to have to go back and get your stuff.
That's
And
right.
I believed her. What?
You're a New Yorker now. You know that, Mary. That's what
Oh
makes you
my
New York.
God. It was
Good
incredible.
point.
So I go back and I went back to get the stuff and I was absolutely scared shitless, really, to be honest with you. And I get up there and she's drunk again. And now she's crying. I'm so sorry. That was so terrible of me. It wasn't you. It was the other lady. Oh my God. What was
Other
I
lady?
thinking? The other lady that was
Split
there
person.
writing her
Oh.
dissertation.
Like Dr.
And
Jekyll,
so she
Mrs.
said-
Hyde.
It's like
listen.
she's my
Yeah,
other
ex-
personality.
Exactly.
She said, "Oh
Comes
my
and
God,
goes.
you're gonna have to help me," because when she comes up, because that lady needed to be buzzed in, and she said, "When I allow her in, when she buzzes, I'm going." She said she would open the door and you throw the suitcases at her, and I said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." I said, "I'll open the door and you throw the suitcases," and we did that, and that's
Yeah.
exactly exactly what happened. And I stayed there. That was in November sometime. And then I when I came home for break, I never went back. And that was
Wow.
a whole different circular turn that took me off into CCM then.
Wow.
You know what?
Did
Sorry, I just want to digress for a second because I know Carl has an amazing story about a homestay, and I
Yes.
have a very quick story about a homestay. Can we quickly get these in because I think this is
This is
perfect?
about the naked
Yeah.
guy?
No. Can you quickly tell your story about the pool house guy?
Yes. Yeah, real quickly. I was singing in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was doing Butterfly with Paula Delegati,
Oh, our dear
Maestra,
friend.
our dear friend and
Oh, what
great,
a great
great
singer.
soprano. Great God, what an amazing
Oh,
singer.
God.
And it was my first Butterfly, and I go down to do it, and they say, "Oh, we have you in sponsored housing." And I didn't know what that meant. And they said, "Yeah, but you're staying with the family." I said, "Family?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, you'll be great." So I've rented a car in Knoxville, and I drive out to this house, and it's a nice little normal house, but it had a big pool, and it had a house behind it, a little house right on the pool. So it was a pool house. So when I pull up, there's the husband, tall, good-looking, handsome guy. He's leaving for work. He's an attorney, and his wife and 3 children are running around, 2 little rugrats and a preteen one. And she says, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And I meet them all. And she says, "We're having you in the pool house." I said, "Great, perfect." I have my separate entrance, and so I check in. I mean, I throw my stuff down, and I go to rehearsal. And I get to a 5 o'clock rehearsal, and we rehearse. And at about 8 that night or 9 that night, someone in the chorus says, "Oh, do you want to go out to a bar with us? It's the only mixed bar in town. It's gay and straight and whatever, you know." And I said, "Yeah, I'd go. Yeah, I'd love to go." So I go, and I'm standing at the bar, and this very, very tall drag queen, probably 6'5", and then
Wow.
heels on top of that. So
Wow.
probably 6'7".
Not your type.
I look over, and she's standing there, and very, very manly hands goes and touches my face and goes, "Aren't you a big drink of water?" And I said, "Look who's talking. Can I buy you a drink?" And I said, "Well, I don't really drink alcohol." "What do you drink?" I said, "Coca-Cola." "I'll buy you a Coke." "Bartender, 1 Coke on me." And says, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I just got out of rehearsal." And, "Oh, that's right. Rehearsal, huh?" And I went, "Yep." And he goes, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I said, "Well, it was great." I said, "Well, look, I got to go because I got friends here and I don't want to be rude to them." "Okay, well, I'll see you later." I said, "Okay, bye." So I leave and I go off with my friends. And they said, "Hey, we saw you over there. You got some action, huh?" I said, "Yeah, no." I said, "That's not really my thing." So all night, she keeps staring at me. And every time I look over, she goes,
Waving at you.
Ah,
I'm like, I'm freaked out. Okay. And this being almost 30 years ago, I was innocent then. So,
Oh, yeah, right.
Unlike
So I-
today. That's
You're
what
so
you're-
we all disband, we all leave, and I go home. And I pull in the driveway and I get out and I walk to the pool house and I see this car pull in the driveway. And I think, oh, maybe the head of the household's getting home. So I go in and I throw my score down and I go in the kitchen, pour myself a Diet Coke or something. I turn the TV on, all of a sudden there's at the door. I'm thinking, oh, he probably wants to say hello because I didn't really meet the father of the house. I just waved at him and kind of said, oh. So I go over and I open up the little Lavalier blinds or whatever you call them. And there's this 6'7" drag queen there. Son of a bitch, this thing's followed me home. So I like turn the thing and I can see him. And I look up and I open the door. I put the chain on the door and I said, yeah. And he goes, hey, how's it going? I was like, how's it going? I said, you follow me home? And he goes, let me in. Come on, let me in. And I said, no, I'm not letting you. Why'd you follow? You follow me all the way home? And he goes, come on, open the door. So, here I am, former bounty hunter, like 3 weeks before. I opened the door and he starts pushing his way in. I said, stop, back up. You're not coming in my house. I said, there's a family that lives here. And he goes, I know, it's me.
Oh,
I said, it's you, who? And he goes, dummy. I said, I'm the husband. I'm the father. And I was like, what the fuck? And he goes, come on, let me in. And I said, no. And he goes, I got to come in and change. My wife will see me. And I said, maybe your wife should see you. And he said, no. Come on, let me in. I said, ain't going to happen. I slammed the door, locked all the locks, put the chain on, and just went to bed. Turned off all the lights.
Did he come after you anymore?
No, but the next morning my ass was out of there and I checked into a hotel.
All right, let's get back to Marianne. Sorry.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's my life.
Well, you were living in his dressing room, Carl. That's the problem.
So what I want our listeners to know is not only is Marianne one of the world's great mezzos, but now she is actually artistic director of Marianne.
Pittsburgh Festival Opera.
Pittsburgh Festival Opera. So she is on both sides of the table now. And let me just say, you are probably freaking out all of your young artists with these stories right now, Marianne.
Yeah.
And Carl.
Do you know what? But I think
drag queens and guns.
Yeah, but now it's me that visits the young artists.
Yeah. And you get hired.
I meet them in the bars and go.
And Marianne's got the gun, so watch out.
Exactly. Watch out. I've got my pistol pack and or my pistol is right here on my side.
Exactly.
You know what? My brother wants me to buy a gun. He said, Mimi, you really should have a gun. I said, no, because I might use it.
Mimi, here's what you do. Mimi, here's what you do. I'm going to call you Mimi from now on.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is an open carry state.
Yes.
I didn't know that until I worked there and I saw a 21-year-old with a cannon strapped to his side in the supermarket. I thought, well, who are you going to kill? A can of beans? So I said, I started thinking about it. For any woman, you know what I advise? You should get yourself a taser.
That's exactly right.
A gun taser. It looks like a gun. It's a
Yes.
taser. You can wear it just like a regular gun. It's non-lethal unless you shoot a 90-year-old with a pacemaker.
Can you now have Secret Service? Now that you're artistic director, you should have Secret Service.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're more popular than the mayor of Pittsburgh, they should assign you. They should assign you Secret Service.
Oh yeah, right. Secret Service, my ass. That's never gonna.
I'll send you a link for a taser.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you which one's good.
Because I do travel around. I don't know if you guys knew this, but last week, was it, Carl? I drove to Virginia because I'm doing these online. Our festival is online this year because, of course, of the pandemic. And so we wanted to fill those dates that were original dates of the festival. And we're filling them with all different kinds of things, discussions, little concerts. Like I have an opening on July 10th. That's the opening of our online. It's called Unstaged. And then there are round tables, all kinds of things.
Well, I must say, here's to a warm hand on your opening.
That's right.
Oh, thank you.
My wife used to say that. Did I tell you that?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You just got it. She just got it.
I just got it. Never
Mary,
mind.
that's a Celeste Holm-ism. I want you to know. Celeste Holm used to say that.
Right.
Yes. So go on.
Anyway, I drove down to D.C. I was down there 2 hours, and I turned around and come back.
She was crazy. She came she drove, what, 5 hours? 5 hours?
No. It's about 4 hours.
4 hours one way. Had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, had a cup of coffee, interviewed Carl for about 50 minutes or so. And I was there probably 2 hours, maybe at most, and turned around and came back. So I'm always in my car. I'm always driving.
Well, first of all, you have a car podcast, a car YouTube channel.
Cornetti's Candid Corona Conversations.
There you go. So check that out. And then Carl was supposed to be your leading man in your first show as artistic director.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Carl was graciously accepted. And you know what? I'm going to tell you all something. The unbelievable amount of support around me for my doing this, and all of my colleagues, just like Carl, have said that they would do anything to help.
Yeah.
And because I immediately wanted to change the level of this company. And by bringing in somebody like Carl Tanner or Danielle Paston or Jane Eaglin, those people, immediately it's gone up. And I'm humbled, really, truly, I'm humbled because believe me, we're not paying anybody's fees that I have had contact with throughout my career, but everybody is being so gracious to help me to make this level, or this theater, a different level. And so Carl so graciously said, you know what, Marianne, I'll come and do it for you. And I'm sorry, because of the pandemic, what was supposed to be this summer for us is now next summer. And what was supposed to be next summer for Carl, no, this summer for Carl, was it afterwards, Carl, or something, is now Grange Hall, it's right on top of
Yeah,
our,
Grange Park, yeah.
yeah, Grange Park.
And now
So-
next year I can't do it for you, and I feel so bad. But what I want to do is, like I said, I'm going to donate a piece of jewelry from Carl Tanner Designs. I want to donate so you guys can auction it off or whatever and give it to the opera, and help. Hopefully, I mean, make enough money to maybe support a young artist or something.
You know
Marianne,
what? I really appreciate that. Really.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
ask you a serious question about this, since you're in this position now of authority and power and vision to really make things happen? What do you think is the future of opera in this country right now, given what's happening and everything shutting down, Broadway off till 2021?
Well, you know what, Frank? It's staggering how many artists we're going to lose. I really believe that. I did read somewhere, there was a statistic that said 67% of artists will go bankrupt.
We were close to bankrupt before this happened.
Listen,
Right.
listen, I
That's
want to say
exactly-
this. I don't mean to interrupt. I want to say this, and this, I'm glad you asked this question. When opera does come back, it will come back. I want the
totally
opera
agree.
companies to really think about what they're going to do, because I know they're going to want to look at all the younger artists to save money. But think of when I was coming up through the ranks, I'm the oldest here. Okay. So I'm going to say this. When I was in my 30s and I should have been well into a career, I started late. I would hear, bide your time, learn your craft, put your dues in. Nowadays, you have 22-year-olds trying to sing Rodolfo. So what I'm going to say to the opera world, and I want our listeners that share this, think about the veterans in this business that are
Absolutely.
still wanting to sing, that have maybe they don't have the provenance or the experience that Orrin or Marianne or Frank or I do, but they're great singers. Don't overlook them. Don't put them in the shadows or back. Bring them forward, because we're willing to work. We're willing to work at much less, and we're willing to help your opera company.
Whoa. Speak for
regain
yourself.
its
No, totally kidding. Totally kidding.
Okay, I'll speak for myself.
But I got to tell you, Carl and Miriam, you guys can attest to this. I had back in '93, I was doing my third season with the Washington Opera at Kennedy Center, and I was simultaneously in the Air Force as a singer with the Air Force Singing Sergeants.
Wow.
And I mean, I had a real career and a real job, but I was, thank God, able to depend on the Air Force pay, because I was doing Semele at the Kennedy Center, and I was having a conversation with the tenor there, who was, I can't remember his name at this time, but he was a very well-respected national opera singer. And I said, what's your next gig? How's your career going? He said to me at the time, he says, I'm thinking about getting out. I said, why? He says, Frank, there's a problem in this country in opera. He says, I got a house, I got a wife, and I have children. But unless you're only singing at the A-level houses, it's hard to make a living. And he says, if you're singing at the B-level houses, which at the time, Washington Opera was considered a B-level house.
Yeah.
And so if you're only singing at the B-level houses, unless you're at the Met and then above on a regular basis, he can't really support the family.
That's true.
So it's something to consider, because I think to some extent, even before Corona hit, we were all living somewhat from hand to mouth.
It's true, and a lot of singers do live that way, Frank. In essence, I did. Unfortunately, what happened with me last year with a terrible situation with stem cells and whatnot almost put me under 6 feet.
Oh
but
my God!
it nearly wiped me out financially, seriously.
Jerome Hines died penniless. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. But getting back to what Carl was saying, it's true, because one of my contracts has been now repositioned until 2023, and I'm wondering if I should take it, because that's 3 years away, and I'll be 58 this year. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that, because that's a long way off. It seems short, but it's a long way.
Well, you also have a wonderful situation. You also have a wonderful situation where you're able to be an artistic director and still perform. I mean, I think it's a brilliant idea by the festival to have you in a dual position, because you're out there, you're doing it, and you're visible to everybody as a performer, and you have that cachet. I think other companies, if possible, should do stuff like that as well.
Well, because of what's happened, and I don't know if I should probably say this, but it is the reality, and it is a fact. I have lost $180,000, just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Right. Just like that. And to be totally honest, and I'm grateful, totally grateful for the job, but when you're not used to living that way, on that amount of money, it's like it's difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything about my fee here, but the adjustments are unbelievable.
Start counting your pennies.
Yes.
Well, or you can. I'm going to say it out loud. It's time for you to get a raise there. You've been there a few months. Time for a raise.
All right. Yeah, right. Okay. You know what? I'll give you the number.
I know your general director, so
you signed the check.
Yes. Exactly.
So I know him personally, so
exactly.
I'll call him.
But it's a really difficult time. And Carl, what you're saying is the younger singers have time to
They do.
recoup. We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
But I also
And
want to say,
and thank you for pointing that out, because it's true. Look, I'm 58. I'm a little older than you. I'm a little older than these kids here. Yeah, but still. And I have, I'm lucky. I'm a tenor, and I'm a tenor in the heaviest Fach in the world. And now I'm looking at German rep. My problem with looking at German rep is, do I invest the time in learning German roles, and then with what we're talking about, possibly not get hired at all because there are other German singers out there?
Well, I want to say there is. I think American singers are incredibly well trained. I think our languages, musicality, we're very well trained. But there is definitely a lot of nationalism in the opera world, and what I mean by that is there are countries who specifically say we are going to hire our own countrymen,
Italy.
I think is
great. Which I think is great, except for this country.
And it's a real problem. And because I think America because we're not funded nationally or federally, other countries are giving money to the opera so they can afford to have 25% capacity or social distance. But I think American operas are going to have it's going to be a lot longer than that, because it's so expensive and they cannot afford to only be at quarter capacity and still put on opera. So the other international singers will find work in their countries because they are funded by the government. And I think American opera will come back last. And I think American artists should be given priority if possible.
Yeah.
Well, I really do think that the opera will come back. I think all of the arts will come back, because frankly, we can't survive without them.
No, I agree.
As you have
people
seen
are hungry
all
for
over
them.
Zoom, people, even where did it start in Italy, where people are singing on their balconies.
Right.
And we cannot live without music or art of any kind. And so I think what we have to get through is now the fear of COVID, because everybody is really afraid. And
Right.
I understand it. I'm not afraid for myself. You have to be so conscious for another person, or the older people, or people who are, susceptible.
Mhm.
But this is the way that I'm looking at the way I run this company. I'm not going to follow just because somebody else said it and did it.
Do you think that you're going to be able to do social distance performance? I mean, it's so expensive to put on a production. Will you be able to do a show with a much smaller audience?
Well, we've already repositioned our Wagner concert in October. Now,
Okay.
the problem is we're only allowed 250 people in a theater.
Okay.
So if you put in the theater that we originally wanted to put, it would have to go down to about 125. I can't do that. So we can put it at Carnegie Music Hall. The problem with that hall is it's 1,800 seats, and you put 250 people in that. And how does a singer come out and feel like, holy shit, where is everyone?
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
And that is demoralizing. So you have to weigh that, plus, or on the other side, I'm so happy to just be singing.
Yeah. It reminds me, there was one time when I was in the Pittsburgh studio, we did a concert in Johnstown, and it was a huge snowstorm. So we drove out there, and we had full orchestra, big theater, big hall, and there were about 8 people in the audience.
Yeah.
About 8. And I remember we would finish an aria, and you would hear one person go, "Woo!" And you could call them out by name. Thank you.
Did you, Marian, did you ever do the production of Aida at the Deutsche Oper, that where in the fountain, and he kills her, he strangles her,
No.
Radames strangles Aida in the fountain?
No, I did the last performance of the old production.
Okay. Well, this is now the next
Yeah.
old production.
Yes.
Because it's just terrible. They wanted me to do for some reason, the triumphal scene. They wanted me to come in and shoot 12 children in the back of the head. That I had, 12 Ethiopian children that happened to be blonde, And I said, there's no way. I said, look, I'm an ex-cop. I said, there's no way I'm going to shoot kids.
Oh my God.
And the director goes, then maybe we get another guy. I said, listen, look, I'm not German. I said, maybe you can get another crazy ass tenor in here to do that. I said, but I'll be picketing out front. I said, listen, I said, what I will do is let's just change it from a gun to maybe pushing their faces in cherry pies. And this very gay, I'm gay, I can say that. This very gay German director goes, das ist so schön. That would work. I like this cherry pie. It's fantastic. Really, sehr, sehr gut.
Ist fantastisch.
That is fantastic.
Oh my God.
Let's do it. So every night I would push these kids. Well, anyway, the audiences started out with 500 people in the audience. And by the third performance, there were 72.
Oh.
They paid us for the rest of the run and canceled. Thank you.
No kidding.
Canceled the show.
So they didn't
my
fly, huh?
Yeah, and then they brought it back one more time, and there were like 36 ticket sales, so they decided to scrap it.
So let me ask all of you. You're all performers. In the situation that we're in now, what would be better? The feeling of being on stage and singing, or the feeling of or not singing because there's not enough people?
Listen,
On stage and singing.
Yeah, you
On
entertain
stage
one
and singing.
person and they get something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. On stage and singing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've all done that.
I feel that way. I do. I feel that way, and those are the restrictions that we have to work with. That I have to work with, and but I just refuse to cancel things. I refuse. I said I don't need to do that now. I will go by what the restrictions are, but just because everybody canceled everything, I just don't understand why you're canceling 6 and 8 months ahead. I don't get that.
Right. Mary, we had an interview last week or so where the gentleman was singing in Spain, and where they've
Michael
literally.
Fabiano.
There you go, Michael.
Oh
yes.
yeah, sure.
Where they've doubled they're just tripling like their performances. They've cut the salaries, they've cut the audiences, but they've multiplied exponentially the amount of performances. So that's how
Yes.
they're getting away with this.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you think about that for
Well,
yourself?
yeah, that's possible. You know, the thing is, whoops, that's possible. The thing is, the singers still are singing the same amount every night. You know,
Right.
so do you do one or two performances with them with lower? I mean, we cannot. That's something we can't change, Frank. Is the number of people. So I think we just have to deal with that, because
Yeah.
if you do 3 or 5 performances of let's say Pagliacci, and you're still singing the same amount, but you're getting paid less.
Yes.
Well, you know what?
That's the
It's
sacrifice.
it's
Yeah.
something as
a loss.
performers, as we all know this, and we all have to say, you know what, we'll do this to keep the business alive.
But it's sort of like when the military does rifting. I mean, people go without getting paid, but they go to work. You know, there's lots
Yes.
of different
Well-
industries that have had this happen.
You remember, Marianne, I want to bring back a story of an Aida that we did in Rome. First of all, I want to just preface this by saying it was probably the most disorganized thing I've ever seen in my life. And we were in separate casts.
Nothing new there.
You were running back and forth between Verona and Rome. So somehow you were in the other cast. And what was hysterical is Marianne is probably, I'm biased, but I mean, I truly believe she's the greatest omniarist that ever walked the face of the earth.
Mhm.
But Marianne was this incredible tour de force, and her Aida, if you remember, was the general director's what should I say? It was his girlfriend.
Oh,
So she
really?
was made. Do you remember?
course.
It was
Welcome
his.
to
It was
Italy.
his mistress, and so she was incredibly young. Probably shouldn't have been singing anything heavier than Susanna in Marriage of Figaro. And here you are. Do you remember
Oh
that?
my gosh, was
But-
that Trombetta?
That was. Oh, she said the name. Oh God. I was trying not to say the name, but
Oops.
what I was remembering about
okay.
you're talking about singing and getting paid for singing. I remember you had a performance. Now, it being Rome, the shows were supposed to start at what, 8, 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
and
9.
there was one performance that you were
Was that
involved in.
Caracalla? Was that
It
in
was
Caracalla?
Caracalla.
That was in Caracalla.
And
yeah.
there was one performance where they started maybe what, an hour late, something like that. You were ready to
Yeah.
go, and you finished Act 1. I'll never
Yep.
forget. And then they canceled it because of lightning, right?
Yes, that's it.
And
Yep.
so when Marianne went to get paid, they said to you, "Sorry, because you only finished the first act, you're going to get what, a quarter of your salary."
Order.
A quarter. And Marianne said, "No, wait a second. First of all, I was ready to go. You were late." And they said, "Well, you can come back and do another performance for the other 3 quarters."
That's exactly right.
That I remember, and you were like, "No, fuck that."
Oh, I was so mad. Oh
I
my
remember
God.
that.
Well, I
know,
got to
some
tell
of
you,
those-
it rained one night when I was doing Carmen there, and so they said, well, they were going to pay us. So when I was leaving, someone gave me a gift. They gave me a piece of Caracalla. I
What?
mean,
Like chiseling off.
so I actually have a piece of Caracalla. Now, I thought I was going to be stopped at the airport and, but I have it here. So I know it's against the law to have it because it's part of their history or whatever. But yeah, if they give me some contracts, I'll give it back to them.
You know what? That and a cup of coffee will get you nowhere.
Exactly. Hey, I want to ask you, we have a segment called Stories from the Road. And even though we've been talking about the road and stories and everything, I want you
She
to
got a
tell
gun
us,
to her head.
you can recall your funniest mishap or something you can tell us, a story from the road.
I can. Do you know what? The one that really comes to mind, I was in Parma singing Trovatore in 2006. And it was with Roberto Frontali. And I
Yes.
think probably you all know who Roberto Frontali is. And it was during the Act 3 when Azucena is captured and Conte di Luna recognizes and Ferrando recognizes who I am. And so there's sort of like a little couple of steps that I'm sort of sitting on the top step, and Roberto is sort of over top of me. And usually a good hair yank is good with Azucena. Being thrown to the floor or whatever. I got beat. I've been beaten up a lot with Azucena, but I loved every minute of it. But there was a moment that he was to grab my hair or my wig. And I always tell them, just grab it. I hate that when they put their hand there and there's nothing. There has
Yeah.
to be tension.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do the motions, but there has to be some sort of tension. I'm that kind of singer.
Mhm.
So we're in a.
I've heard that about you.
And he's got me by there. Well, he lost his way and he pulled my wig right off my head.
Oh.
And I thought, it hurt like the dickens. And there he is standing with my wig in his hand, and we're just going, and I'm thinking, oh, that mother just pulled my wig, and I had my bald.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he
your bald
started,
cap on.
he started to go like this, trying to put it on like it was going to stick like Velcro.
Oh.
It was like this. So at the end of it, I grabbed that wig and I threw it at him, and I'm yelling as I'm going out, "Bastardo, bastardo, bastardo!"
That doesn't need
You
any
know-
translation right there.
So, you know,
That's right.
I did a show with I won't say where because it can be traced. I did a show with Roberto Frontale. We did Trovatore, and it
Yeah.
was somewhere in Germany. And he comes up to me, and we'd taken a break, and they were rehearsing, and he comes up to me, and he goes, "This production is shit. It's pure shit. Actually, I've shit better than this production." He's a nice man. He's a really fun guy.
Oh my God! When I came off stage, he said, "Mariano, oh, mi dispiace tanto, 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 tanto." And I was laughing. I really was laughing. I have another one, and this is a really funny story. When I was just first starting out, in fact, Nancy Maltby, who's on the voice faculty here with Pittsburgh Festival Opera for the Young Artist Program,
Please give her my best.
Might
I
as
will.
well.
Yeah, Maria Spacagna, Rob Chafin, and Nancy, and they've done a fantastic job doing everything over Zoom, believe me. But the kids learned, and it was 5 weeks, and then we're in the last week. But anyway, we were laughing because I was interviewing them yesterday, and I said, "Oh my gosh, there's an infamous story between Nancy Maltby and I at Wolf Trap in 1992, and maybe 91 it was, and I was singing La Finta Giardiniera." Or we were singing La Finta Giardiniera, and the set was full of oranges, oranges, and like it was a grove of oranges and lemons and whatnot. And just that year, I didn't realize what was wrong with me until later in the season, but I contracted rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh,
And
boy.
I mean, it was very painful and all of that stuff. But anyway, so I was coming on stage and I tripped, and I didn't, my joints hurt so bad that I couldn't catch myself. And I had sort of bumped into the whole set, and the whole oranges were going
Oh.
like this. Well, she was already out on stage and she saw this and she started to laugh. And as I'm coming out and singing, I can't remember what I was saying. I started to laugh at the end of my phrase. I couldn't control it.
Oh,
It
no.
was hysterical. I mean, the whole set was just moving. Well, she sang her line and blah, 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 blah. And we get off, and I was laughing so hard. I came off stage and I'm bent over laughing that the stage manager thought that there was something terribly wrong with me. She came over and said, "Oh, Marianne, are you all right?" She's going like this. "Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I was laughing. I laughed so hard. Are you ready?
Oh.
I peed myself.
I thought you were going to say you sharded.
No, and no, I peed so hard, and my
Oh,
shoes
God.
were sopping wet.
Oh.
Squish, 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 squish. And I had to finish that damn show with wet shoes.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That was funny.
That was at
became
Wolf
very
Trap?
infamous. And the opening night, Peter Russell, I got this beautifully wrapped package, opening night, beautiful letter, blah, blah, blah. And I opened it. It was a big bag of Depends.
Oh. Very nice.
It was really funny.
I just did some kind of thing a week ago or 2 weeks ago with Peter Russell. It was a questionnaire kind of game thing, and Peter and I I think we were on the same team, and we won.
Wow.
We won.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Peter
It
is
was
a
an,
great
it was an
guy.
Alan Sabata kind of thing where,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, four teams against each other. It was with the Washington Concert Opera thing.
Sure.
So we're kind of running out of time. Frank, do you want to say anything?
Just it's great to see you and hear from you and catch up, and great guest, and thank you for being a part of our podcast.
Oh, my gosh, Frank. Tell me, what are you doing now?
Uh,
Are you still singing at all?
I am producing a few things, actually. I'm producing a musical that we're trying.
Movie?
I produced a movie in Michigan, but I just got
Great.
off the phone yesterday or 2 days ago with my co-producers of this musical that we're actually going to do a high def streaming production of it, and we're going to film it like a movie. So the COVID has really changed, has forced us to change our
Yes.
perception and
Yes.
recreate filming or in
Yes.
this case live musicals into streaming musicals, and that's what it is. We're working on that right now. And
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, got me.
Yeah. We
you know,
are actually doing the same thing with our young artist program. It's all we are filming it.
Yeah. Exactly, in different
Incredible.
locations, and we're
Yes.
using green screen
Yep.
we have a separate location, and the artists are not even going to be in the same room at times.
Right.
Both, and you're going to look as if they're actually in the same room singing to each other. So it'll be exciting.
so
Absolutely wonderful.
It's a wonderful musical called The Time of Nick. Keep an eye out for it.
we're going to have
Great to hear.
we have another
Let's
little
see it.
segment that we started. We started inviting people to email us, and we'd read their emails online, and questions, comments, whatever, as long as they're polite and everything. And we
Sure.
got this new email now.
Well,
Oren
first of all,
has
let's
not.
give our.
Oren,
We have a
heard
fan
this.
now. We have a fan.
But
We have a fan.
why don't you give out our email address so that for other people they can write
our
to us?
email address is operawithfries@gmail.com. You're welcome to write us, as long as it's polite and not mean. If it's mean, I'm going to track you down.
All right, see.
But if it's not mean and it's nice and polite, or if it's curiosity, whatever, email us. And Frank will read your email online. So operawithfries@gmail.com.
So you're saying we got somebody this week who wrote to us, so I'd love to
We
hear
did.
it.
And I did not know this until Frank said, I called Frank this morning and he goes, hello, this is Butter speaking. I said, what? So Frank, read the email you got from it. Who's it from?
First of all, I thought it might be a joke because I thought it might be Oren or Carl. They're always pulling pranks here or there. And
Right.
Carl calls me and pretends to be somebody else, a salesman selling me something. So I got this email.
I can't keep a straight face. You know that.
I know. It came through on our Gmail account for podcasts or for Opera with Side of Fries. And, I just want to preface this that I think being recognized and appreciated is a wonderful gift to give anybody. And as
Right.
much as we can spread that gift forward, we should do it with somebody in our lives and other people. Every day we should give that way. And
Totally agree.
so I woke up and I saw this email, and it helped make my day. And with this podcast coming
wanna
up
hear.
today with you, Marion. So but I thought it was a joke at first, and I just want to say this gentleman's name is Philip McCracken. Isn't that a great name, McCracken?
A great.
It's a great-
So
James McCracken.
yes, exactly. So a shout out
Phil
to you,
McCracken. Philip McCracken.
Phil, it's a shout out to you. We thank you for your
Okay.
support. You're listening to us. And here's his email. He said, "Hi, guys. Just wanted to say I came across your podcast a couple of weeks ago, as I'm a big fan of opera. You're all wonderful. But Frank, I have to say, your voice is like smooth melted butter."
Oh,
That's
I
nice.
love it.
Thank you very much, Phil. And then he says, "I'm not sure you play on my team, but if you're interested, you have my email address. I live in Queens, and I would love to meet you in person and would love hearing from you. No offense to the other guys, but your voice does something to me. Until then, stay safe and sexy." So-
Oh, Phil
That's
McCracken.
Frankie,
Oh,
Phil.
Frankie.
I
Yes,
bet
Phil
you could be
McCracken.
churning some butter.
Phil, I'm sending my love back to you. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate that.
This is too good. Do something for your dating life.
I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
Phil, to you, I will always be melted butter. I just
Hey,
want
you know what? Phil might be an honorary of NAMBLA. you guys might have something.
Listen, my wife, my late wife used to always tell me. My wife would always
Well,
say
don't
when I
tell
go
Phil
out.
that you have a late wife. I
No,
mean, it sounds like
yeah.
he
I,
wants.
well, I just to be honest, but my wife, whenever I would go out to sing, she'd say, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, "I have a six concert here. I have to sing there." She goes, "Make them love you." That's what she used to always say. So
Aw.
it
Phil
goes
Kraken
across the
loves
board.
you.
So we
Warren, you
love
wanna
you
say
back.
anything?
Right.
I just want to say, seeing Marianne just makes my day. Always does.
Absolutely.
I love you. I love you. You know
I
that.
love my little bro.
I love you, big sis.
I'm telling you, it's so great to see you guys. And you know what? What you guys are doing is awesome.
What you're
Thank
doing
you.
is awesome.
Thank you, hon. And I guess you're my little sister since you're younger than me.
Yeah,
So
That's it.
I guess.
Frank, Carl's everybody's big brother.
yeah. So listen, thank you for coming on. And listen, you know, if you want to email us and have any questions for Marianne, I'm sure we can forward on your email to Marianne. So just send us emails and ask her anything.
And
I'm sure
everybody
she's
support
very
Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Opera
Festival
Festival.
Opera. Oh,
Pittsburgh
my
Festival,
goodness.
Festival Opera.
Opera.
Pittsburgh Festival
Festival
Opera.
Opera. Everybody support
Marianne,
it.
thank you so much for coming on.
We're all going to be working for Marianne someday.
Much
I
love.
hope
Yes.
so.
Please
It
hire
would
us.
be-
hire
Either
us.
that or
would
she'll
be
be
the-
mayor of your city. So
That's right.
It would be the
Don't worry about
most fun opera company ever.
it will.
Yes.
Love you guys so
Love you,
much.
babe.
Love you.
All
too.
right.
Love
Take
you.
care. Thank you.
Take
Thank
care
you.
now.
That was
Bye,
so
everyone.
much
Till
fun.
next week. All right.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.